We have breaking news in downtown Spokane. We're following firefighters are responding to a 4-story apartment. KXLY4's Jeff Humphrey is live on the scene. Jeff, what's the situation?
Well, Robin, this is a multi-alarm fire here at Bernard and Bain. Let me show you what's going on right now. This is a ladder truck trying to reach the 4th story of this building. I always call it the Sukiyaki Inn building because it's got a great restaurant down below. But firefighters have been launching a frantic effort to get through this building and look for anybody who's inside. When we first arrived, there was a big column of smoke coming from the very top of this building. And initially, there were concerns that there might be some people that were stuck in an elevator. Brian, come up back down to the ground here. You can see they're about to put a person on a gurney. That's the very first ambulance that I've seen here today, and that's a good sign because we did hear about those reports of someone being trapped. It appears that they had this fire knocked down now, but because it's a high density unit, they had to take a lot of their resources and first go in and search the place as best they could, and only after that did they have the opportunity to begin suppressing the fire, which appears to be dying down at this time. We're not sure of any injuries, and I think the lady going away on that gurney there is just suffering from either exhaustion or shock, but firefighters still working hard on this ladder. The ladder's doing two things right now. It's getting firefighters to that top floor, and it's also helping evacuate people, although we have not seen anybody hang out a window like they're about to expire from smoke inhalation. We've seen people waving their arms saying, yes, I'm here, I'd really like to get out of this building as quickly as possible. But we haven't seen anything dire like someone gasping for air and not being able to breathe because of the fire that's inside this building here at Main and Bernard. Dave and Robin?
Hey, Jeff, as we are sitting here watching this, it looks like there is, obviously one person who is trying to make it onto a ladder. That person has just gone back into the building. And I know you're just getting on the scene, so you haven't a ton of information either, but any idea how many people may be in the building?
Well, I've seen this before. I'm interpreting this, but this lady is trying to get out and she wants to give the firefighter something like a pet or an animal first. And he's saying, no, ma'am, I need you first. We'll get the dog later. And so that's what you're seeing right now. Now, fortunately, that is not the part of the building that's on fire. It's a little bit further to the south and west of us at this time, but that is the most dramatic thing that we've seen so far, where you have people who are inside the building in harm's way. Was that firefighter there on the ladder? Another firefighter heading on that ladder now, and like I said, they're using the ladders to both get people out of the building as well as get firefighters in. He's coming out. I haven't seen that young lady yet. Maybe he's turning around to take her off, but I think that's what that debate was about, was whether or not she would come out first or if her animal would, and now it appears that she is going to come down that ladder. Robin?
Okay, and Jeff, just to recap for people, this is at the corner of Main and Bernard. It is not the building that houses the Onion, but it is next to it. The
Yes,
Sukiyaki is downstairs.
Right, and so you got Luigi's and the Onion, not Luigi's, you've got the Onion in that building that is to the south of us. This is the Sukiyaki Inn building, and the nice thing about that is there's a very big alley in between these two buildings, and firefighters have been able to keep this fire from spreading to an adjoining building, so it's a freestanding building here at Bernard and Main, and it looks like it will be going no further. This lady here on the ladder is still shaking her head like she's not crazy about coming down it, but they will get her down, and because this fire is not burning nearly as intensely as we saw before, it looks like that she's going to be okay. Still no word on what happened to the people that may have been stuck in an elevator, but we have only seen one ambulance here, and I think they would have called for more. There are units still arriving from all over the city because it's a multi-alarm fire.
Well, and I will tell you, I have not been all the way up one of those ladders. It is really intimidating. Sitting here, you're thinking, come on, just come on down. It's really scary. She is on the top floor there, and I'm sure she's quite scared to come down. Now, we're not seeing any kind of, from this angle, Jeff, any smoke, any flames. Where exactly does the fire seem to be?
All right, we have seen most of the smoke that came out the windows on the 4th floor, and that is the same floor that you're looking at now, where this lady is carefully making her way down the ladder. And when we first got here, it was burning rather intensely. However, that black smoke that you usually see when you've got petroleum or roofing products involved has stopped, and that means that it stopped getting its fuel, and now it's putting out this white type of smoke that makes me feel like this fire has been knocked down successfully. And to tell you again, it looks like that it is primarily on the upper floors of this apartment building, the same building that houses the Sukiyaki Inn. They are calling firefighters from all over the city to make sure that they can both effect the rescue and keep this fire from coming back up.
And the Italian Kitchen is, I think, the restaurant you were mentioning that is down there also. Isn't that the old Luigi's where there was also a fire years ago?
And that's why Luigi's proper is actually moved one block here on Main. It's interesting that we navigate our way around town using restaurants, but you're right. We're at the building that houses the Sukiyaki Inn on the lower floor. The building that houses the Onion is just one block to the south of us, and that is where that fire is not going to be spreading anytime soon.
Okay. Jeff,
this young lady just about to the bottom, Robin, of the ladder, and this is the place where we would see people that needed medical attention, and we just have not seen that yet. So hopefully with a little bit of a heads up, they were able to successfully evacuate most of the people. Just at the really top of the ladder, you can see this black smoke that we were talking about earlier. It's now putting up a little bit more black smoke, so the fire not down and out for sure, but it was going quite intensely when we first got here, and that's not the case anymore. Now, because this lady is coming down the ladder, that leads us to believe, Robin and Dave, that in fact the elevators are not working here in the building. Otherwise, they would have just taken down under the stairs. And obviously, there's an access problem where at least the stairwell that would have afforded her an evacuation is not available. To your right, Brian, a second ambulance here on scene, and they will certainly be called here as a precaution, but they did not run this particular ambulance code here, which means that it was not a life and death situation. They're here to transport whoever's necessary when it's necessary.
And are you seeing anybody else hanging out of windows? I can't from where I'm looking.
And I'm pleased to tell you that that was the situation that we first got here. Not hanging out the window, if you don't get to me really soon, I am not going to be able to breathe anymore, I'm going to jump out. Nothing like that. They were in the windows of the building here at Bernard and Main, but waving just to make firefighters aware that they were there. There was not smoke billowing out over the top of their heads, for example, and it looks like the fire primarily contained to the top 4th floor of this building. And you could just tell by the tempo, the way that firefighters are moving now, that the most earnest and desperate part of this situation is now over, because they're just not racing around madly at this moment. I think they've done at least their primary and secondary searches successfully. I think they feel like they've rounded everybody up. And I think if you had those people stuck in the elevator, you wouldn't see this more relaxed tempo. Right where we're looking now, these are some of the people that actually live here in this building. You can tell by the way they were dressed. They were ushered out of here very quickly. And we've been watching these two ladies walk around in their lack of clothing for a couple of minutes now. There are some of the people that live here. It is primarily a lower income apartment building, and those are some of the people that have been displaced by this fire. Not seeing a huge amount of water going into the building, Robin, and you know, they certainly have the capability here with these large cranes and nozzles on the end of them. They could be pouring thousands of gallons of water on this building every minute. They're not doing that, and it makes me think that they've actually taken a 2-inch line up inside and knocked down the fire pretty easily.
Yeah, we hope that is the case. All right, Jeff, we're going to let you talk to some of the people out there, get a little more information for us, and we'll check back in with you.
I'm going to give that lady my coat, and she can come over here and talk to us for a second.
Perfect, Jeff, perfect.